So my name is Alessa. I am the Venture Program Specialist here at the Hunter Hub. Essentially what that means is I run all of our programming here at the Hunter Hub, including Launchpad. Some of my background experience, I also founded a startup. It's a food and agriculture startup about 4 years ago now. So I also run that in addition to my role here at the Hunter Hub. So if you have any questions about kind of been through it all in terms of being a startup founder, starting out a business. I started my business as a student as well, so very similar pathway to kind of a lot of what you guys are probably going through, so happy to answer any questions about that, or anything about the Hunter Hub, our programming, different pathways. Yeah, Ricky? Okay, sorry about that, guys. So the Hunter Hub, so briefly, for those of you that aren't familiar, the Hunter Hub is kind of the first touch point on campus for anything entrepreneurship related. So if you guys are interested in Launchpad, you want to start a venture, that's the program for you. But we also can help with kind of just exploring what is entrepreneurship and understanding that pathway. And our mission here really is to kind of help support and cultivate these innovators and change makers and kind of helping to accelerate ideas from conception all the way through to impact. So we do this in 3 ways, again, kind of cultivating and supporting these change makers. So for those of you that are familiar, we have the embedded certificate that any undergraduate degree pathway can take. We've got lots of extracurriculars, such as the Launchpad program. Hunter Hub Solutions Lab is another example of that, to kind of give that experiential learning of kind of entrepreneurship. We also really work to connect and build the community, so kind of helping to connect innovators, building teams, connecting you to resources, both here at the University of Calgary and also in the larger Calgary entrepreneurial ecosystem. And then we do a really great job of kind of amplifying the stories and impact of our innovators who are here and working with us and whatnot. So if you follow us on social media or in our newsletter, we often kind of share profiles and updates about some of the teams that we've been working with and some of their success stories. So we serve students, faculty and researchers, staff, alumni, anyone involved in the UCalgary community. We are here to help. So this is not just for students, it's for everyone. So entrepreneurial thinking, for those of, I'm sure you guys all have an idea of what that is, but essentially just this idea of anyone can build any kind of solution. I like to use myself as an example. I am a kinesiology graduate. I have 2 kinesiology degrees, and I have an agriculture startup. Did I ever think I would get there? Absolutely not. But that's kind of this process of the innovation and entrepreneurial thinking, following those passions. So an engineering student building an event platform, a science student building a medical device. There's all different things you can do, and there's no limit. Central Hub, we do a lot of things, again, involved like both curricular and co-curricular, experiential learning, and we kind of engage research groups on campus. We work with a lot of professors and researchers here, a lot of graduate students looking to kind of commercialize their research in a variety of different ways, and we are part of a broader community. So there's obviously the UCalgary community, there's the Calgary community, Alberta, Canada, and we do have global connections as well. So we are kind of just a cog in the machine, but we are that first point of contact. So getting into Launchpad. Launchpad is a 6-month co-curricular program, so it's going to run from the beginning of October right until the end of March. We do take reading week off, and we do give you guys December off during exams. So it's kind of October, November, January, February, March. And really looking to build just kind of the skills and entrepreneurial thinking within, again, any faculty, any affiliation to the University of Calgary. I'll jump through a little bit. I'll go through the different components of the program, but the program itself ends in a pitch competition that's hosted here at the Hunter Hub. We invite people from the UCalgary and the broader Calgary community to come participate in that event, but we will select the top 8 teams from the Launchpad program, and I'll talk a little bit more about how we do that throughout. But yeah, so it's a really great event to kind of hone those skills and apply them into some kind of venture or situation that you guys are working on yourselves. So through Launchpad, again, honing those skills, a safe, supportive environment, applying the things that you're taught through this program to an idea or startup that you guys have, and then identifying different resources available. If you guys have any questions, you have any needs, for most of you who are early stage, we have more than enough resources to help you here, but if we can't help you, we will get you the help that you need. So if you have any questions, please come talk to us. And then learning how to kind of really clearly communicate those ideas and creating effective pitches and like how to tell the story of what you're trying to do in a very clear way that anybody can understand. So Launchpad, again, is for anybody and everybody, undergrads and graduate students, postdocs, researchers, alumni are welcome. We don't have a limit. I know there's some things on campus, it's kind of like after 3 years or 5 years, you're gonna be an alumni of 20 years, we'll be here to help you. You can apply as a team or as an individual. There is a lot of workload in the Launchpad program. I'll talk a little bit about some of what that workload's gonna look like, but I would really highly encourage you to participate as a team. We do have a team formation next week that's happening at the same time, so I'll give you a little bit more information about that, but if you're not part of a team, I would definitely encourage you to try to meet some people because Launchpad is a lot of work and it can be overwhelming when you're working out by yourself. Something as well that's new for Launchpad this year is before Launchpad used to be open to anybody in any industry doing anything. This year we're limiting it specifically to tech startups. So I will talk a little bit about why we're doing that in a second, but really anyone who's working on kind of this, if you think of startup as a typical like high growth, scaling up, that's the kind of businesses that this program specifically is going to support. We have some other pathways and other options, which again, I'll talk about in a second, that would be more beneficial. If at this point you don't know what you want to do, you don't have an idea, you just want to learn, or you'd like to join another team, you are more than welcome to participate in the program. And if you decide, you know what, I want to open a cafe, you can always drop out of Launchpad and switch to a different program. So if you're not entirely sure what you want to do yet, I would definitely encourage you to apply to Launchpad. A lot of the initial steps are going to be very similar for both business types, but the real value that the teams that are going to find the most value from Launchpad are the kind of tech companies, tech startup companies. This is also a very fun and supportive and safe community to kind of explore, to build, to learn, to network. So please don't be afraid of the other people in the room. We're all here to support you. The Hunter Hub team is here to support you. And again, if you've got questions, anything, please come talk to us. I will put the claim out there, just to be aware that the Launchpad program is a public forum, so anyone who has any IP, so intellectual property, patents, research, things that you don't want disclosed because you'd like to protect it eventually, please do not reveal that information in this public setting. It could no longer be protectable. So just something to keep aware of. If let's say you're a grad student, you've got some technology or something you're working on in the lab, don't tell us what the secret sauce is. Kind of give us that overview, but just this is a public setting, so just don't give that away yet. So I mentioned a different program. So we are launching a brand new program in the winter. So it will open up, applications will open up in January, and it's an 8-week program that's focused on more traditional businesses. So what this looks like is if you're kind of selling products to consumers, if you want to open up like a physical building business, if you have a service-based business, so whether that's like marketing services, you want to be a real estate agent, or anything that's consultancy based, this new program is going to be a better fit. So the reason why we're kind of separating the two is in the past we've had all different types of programs participate in Launchpad, and some of those other traditional businesses just haven't gotten the same value because the curriculum and the format and the pace and the flow of the Launchpad program is really designed for startups. So if you are leaning towards, or you know you want to build one of these more traditional based businesses, I would say come talk to us. We can still provide you kind of some coaching until this new program launches in the winter. Again, if you're not sure what you want to do and you're just exploring, definitely sign up for Launchpad. Some of these things at the very beginning will apply to both business models, so that's fine, but just something to be aware of. And if you want to know more information about this, follow us on social media and subscribe to our newsletter, because I'm still figuring out all the fine details, but as that comes out and it gets announced, that will be available for you guys. So the program components of Launchpad. So we have the Launchpad Skills Clinics. Formerly they were called Launchpad Live. So if anyone's heard of this or participated before, used to be called Launchpad Live. So these are every Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. and they are in person. That is also new this year. We are not live streaming it. We are just doing it in person. And this is where we're gonna have guest speakers come every week to talk about different things. So I'll go over what some of those might be. We also have a workshop every Tuesday. That is virtual, it's on Zoom. Once everyone is registered and signed up for Launchpad, you'll all get added to a D2L shell, and you can find the link for that workshop. It's virtual. The Launchpad workshop, we're really focusing this year on pitching. There's a few reasons for that, but in the first semester, so the fall semester, we're essentially gonna have you guys pitch one slide deck at a time, and we're gonna walk you through that and everything, but the idea is to really get you guys comfortable with building out your deck. In the second semester, in the winter semester, we're gonna have teams sign up, so you're gonna sign up for one workshop to do a 5-minute presentation or 5-minute pitch on your business. You're gonna get feedback from your peers in the program, but also from the program coaches who are gonna provide you with kind of suggestions, ask you questions about your deck, but also about your business. So it's a really great opportunity to learn, to get feedback on your own business and idea and deck, but also to learn and get examples of what other people are doing, what not to do, what's best practice. And from these workshops in the winter, that's how we're gonna select the top 8 teams to pitch in the liftoff pitch competition at the very end of the program at the end of March. So if you are interested in that, there's money associated with that. You guys definitely want to sign up for those in the winter. Again, all of this, I will walk you guys through all of this as the program evolves, but there is going to be a lot of presenting this year. We also have monthly coaching sessions that is available to you. So once you guys are signed up, we will get you matched with a coach, and then you will meet with them once a month. Typically it's about 45 minutes, and just chat with them about the business. We do have weekly tools that you guys will be completing. This is where it gets really, really heavy workload, but essentially you can walk through those tools with your coach. They can give you feedback, they can answer any questions, they can identify like, hey, maybe look at this a little bit further. So those monthly coaching sessions are really, really valuable. We've got a variety of different people who are experts in a bunch of different fields. So really great way to kind of get that experience and that feedback. So yes, these weekly tools, I think there's maybe 9 or 10. They're all in the first semester, and they are a lot. It's not just like a worksheet that you fill out. It's involving going to talk to people, going to do your customer research where you actually have to have conversations, run interviews. This is a lot of work, and this is where it's really, really valuable to have a team with you because it can be a lot. We want you to go out, we want you to get that firsthand experience, and this is the way that we do that, and we do that through these tools. The last piece of the program is we have the Hunter Hub Startup Fund, which is up to $1,000 in eligible expenses. Those expenses can include any IP, so intellectual property protection, incorporating your business. It can include any like prototyping, materials, anything like that, and anything marketing related. Those are typically the kind of categories that is available. So $1,000, the way to be eligible, this will open up in the winter semester, so kind of when you guys come back in January, this will all be opened up to you. But in order to be eligible for that funding, you need to complete the weekly tools and you need to complete the monthly coaching sessions. Your coaches do have to sign off on it, and I will see if you've submitted the tools. So just a heads up, if you want that $1,000, to keep that in mind, because you need to do all of this program participation in order to be eligible for the money. So again, brief timeline. So we've got application period. So applications close on September 29th at 11:59 p.m. You will get an email from me after being like, congratulations, you've been accepted into the program. We'll jump into those weekly fall sessions that same week. Take a break for exams and come back in January. Then at the end of March, the top 8 teams will be selected from those workshops in the winter, and we'll give them pitch coaching preparation. And then we have the liftoff pitch competition, which is the final big event happening on March 27th. This is a really great event. So even if you're not participating, it's a really fun event. We spend a lot of money on this event. So definitely, and we have a lot of people from the community coming. So if you're interested in kind of networking and learning more. Even we have some other startups, so if you're looking for like, hey, I would love to intern for another startup or something, that's a great opportunity to meet people. So it's a really fun event, would definitely recommend, again, even if you're not pitching, to come to that. So on these Thursday sessions, we've got a variety of topics. Again, I think there's 16 weeks throughout the entire academic year that we work on it. Again, starting with things like problem discovery, customer discovery. We're gonna have someone from the Haskell Library come in to show you guys how to do your market research, talking about business models and different ways to sell and get in front of customers. We're doing a lot on financials and funding, and for financials, we're starting at ground zero. So the first session we have is really just like a financial literacy session to get everyone on the same page before we jump into some more specifics, financial documents, reporting, things like that, and then jumping into funding and what different funding options are. We've got a session on pitching, communication skills, lots of legal and IP, team building sessions, go-to-market and sales, and then we also have, I think, 2 or 3 panels that will happen throughout the year where we'll bring different startups in and basically give you guys the opportunity to just like ask them questions. Generally, the people we get in here love being asked, like entrepreneurs in general love getting asked like the really, really hard questions. So kind of you can start thinking about that, and as you guys are starting to work on your own things and you're like, I wonder what this, these are some great questions and an opportunity to get like real answers from people who are currently going through it. So we talked again about the tools. Every month you're going to work with the coaches at the workshops. So the coaches do come to those Tuesday workshops. So this is where, again, you're going to be able to get that real-time feedback from them, but you'll also have that 45-minute session with them once a month. They will see the tools. We give them the tool that you submit. So then they are able to kind of review what you're doing, give you any feedback. You can ask questions. Again, these deliverables are really designed to be practical and applicable. So we want you guys to go out, apply what you've learned, use it, come back to your coach, ask questions, and then really just like learn to get that firsthand like learning experience. Again, completion of these tools and the coaches meetings are necessary to be eligible for that $1,000 per team Hunter Hub Startup Fund, and to be considered for the Liftoff pitch competition at the end of the program. So benefits for the program, again, weekly presentations, the workshops, the networking. We get expert speakers from the ecosystem coming in. So if you want to start to see who's out there, what things that people are working on, it's a great way to do that. Monthly coaching sessions. We do everything through a D2L shell. So you guys will all get access to that in a few weeks. Everything gets posted there. Slides will get posted there. There's some references, there's some extra tools. All of that gets posted. There's the deliverables. Also Maker Multiplex. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the Maker Multiplex and what that is. It's in Schulich. It's essentially a makerspace. So we're going to be doing a tour of that, I believe in November, for you guys to just see what they have. And as you get into kind of the prototyping, if you are building a physical thing, so not software, you can kind of get a tour of it and see what they have. Really cool space. Lots of really cool tools and gadgets in there. It's very fun. Again, that $1,000, that's eligible for kind of prototyping and other expenses. That opens up in the winter. And then finally, there's prize funding. Don't have the total amount of that funding number available yet, but there is a pitch competition for teams, the top 8 teams, to pitch for money. With that, we have a program. I don't know how you guys probably aren't familiar with the Ascent program, but Ascent is a big pitch competition that we run. So this is different from Liftoff, which is at the end of Launchpad. Lots of names, I know. Ascent is a bigger pitch competition that happens in the spring. In the past, we've hosted this pitch competition at Inventures, which is an international conference that comes to Calgary every May, and we've had a slot, so you actually get to pitch in front of like investors, industry experts from around the world who come to this big conference. Not 100% sure that it's happening there yet, but the pitch competition itself will still be happening, and it is sponsored by TC Energy. And so in the past, we've had a prize pool of $50,000 that has been given to the teams. That the teams have been able to pitch for. So this year, the way that we're selecting the participants for Ascent is by the top teams from Liftoff. at the end of Launchpad. So if you're interested and you're really committed to your idea and you want to pursue this, again, really great way to kind of get in front of investors, talk to people, network, build your community, collaborate, find partners. So just something to be aware of. It's probably very overwhelming for a lot of you guys at this point, but just something to be aware of, that there is an opportunity to take things a step further and to go a little bit more public beyond Launchpad. Okay, so coaches, we've got 6-ish coaches this year. I've got a few other people who aren't on this list that, depending on what kind of ideas and subject areas, are willing to kind of coach a team or two. But ultimately, we've got these coaches, a variety of different experience, variety of different, everyone's got a ton of experience. Don't really know what else to say about that. I will be sending out full bios for all of the coaches, and you guys can select. The other thing that I will say, so the way that coaching works is you will have one time slot every month. So let's say it's the first Tuesday of the month at 4 p.m. you're meeting with Jeff. And those time slots will be selected. So please make sure when those bios get sent out for the coaches, please make sure there will also be times that are listed when they're available to meet. Please make sure you can also meet with them at that time. We're working with some of us are working with 30 teams at a time, 20 teams. It gets really complicated and overwhelming to manage a bunch of different schedules. So please just double check that their expertise lines up, but also that their time lines up. Again, for most of you, if you're just getting started, the expertise really doesn't matter at the beginning stage because it's all the same thing. We're gonna ask you the same questions and whatnot. So just make sure that the timing works, please. Please make my life easier and do that. Okay, so if you haven't applied yet to the Launchpad program, there's a QR code. Please fill it out. Also, if you go onto the Hunter Hub website, you can also find the application link there. Takes roughly 15 minutes to fill out. It's not hard. It's really just to give us, and I give those answers to your coaches, and it's really for them to get a sense of where you are, what you're working on, what ideas you have. This same application form for teams and individuals. Again, teams are very strongly encouraged because of just the workload. Just having that partner or that team to kind of bounce ideas and collaborate with makes a huge difference. And if you are part of a team already, you only need one person per team to fill out an application, but they will need all of the team members' information, UCID, email, first name, last name, all of that. So just make sure that if you are the team member filling it out, you have that information from the rest of your team. And again, the deadline is Sunday, September 29th at 11:59 p.m. In addition to that, we have a team formation event happening next week. Here is the QR code for that event. So this event is open to anyone who is either has a team already but has a gap on their team. So let's say you're 2 business students and you want to build this medical device, but you need a mechanical engineer, and you don't have a mechanical engineer. You can sign up on this form. You can indicate I'm part of a team, but we're looking to fill with this kind of person, or you can indicate I'm an individual, I'm looking to join a team. These are my skill sets. I will be pairing you guys up ahead of time into groups based off of the responses in this survey feedback, but there will be an opportunity for you guys at the end. It's a very fun workshop. It should be very entertaining for all of us. I'm very excited. You can, if you didn't like the mechanical engineer who was on your team, you can kind of go find someone else afterwards and talk to them. So yes, again, please just indicate on this form if you're looking to join a team, or if you're an individual looking to join a team, or if you're a team looking for individual members, because I'm gonna kind of do some work ahead of time to kind of get everyone set up for that. With that, I believe that's it. Does anyone have any questions? And I'm just gonna throw this out there. Please don't be shy. Again, this is a safe space. And if you have a question, the chances are someone else in the room also has the same question. So please don't be shy. Please ask away if you do have any questions. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so my question is that these sessions that you mentioned for the workshops and the online virtual events,
Yeah.
are they set for the whole
Yes.
week or?
Yeah, so if you're not able to make them, just come talk to me. We've got a few workaround options. But yes, so those times are set for the entire year. Yes.
Is it somehow connected to that also, or
Not
it's a
Not really. So Map the System is a program. It also runs in the winter, so I believe it's January to April, like beginning of April. Map the System is a really good program, especially anyone working in the social innovation space. You are really just understanding a problem. So like, let's say you're like, I want to solve the climate crisis. It really helps you to map out the system of like all of the different stakeholders and the systems involved in like what causes climate change or the climate crisis. So it's less about finding a solution, building the solution, and it's more about understanding the problem. So you can do both programs. I think that runs on Tuesdays and this runs on Thursdays, so you could do both programs. So especially if you're working in a space that's very complicated, there's lots of healthcare, any like housing, climate, anything like that that has these very complicated systems. That's a really great program, but it's very helpful in understanding the problem, but it is a separate program from Launchpad. Anyone have any other questions? Yeah.
So it's my first time here,
Yeah.
and I was wondering, like, this 6 months thing that you said.
Yep.
So it's going to help us to develop an idea on
Yep.
what we're going to do, or should we have the idea like at the beginning and work on it and see like if it's feasible to do or not?
So you can be like, I have no idea and I'm just like here to learn and I'd love to join another team. Or you could be like, yeah, I've already started building something. Like we can help you at any stage. So if you're like, hey, I have an idea, I don't know if it's a valid idea, we will help you, show you how do you make sure that this is a good idea before you like invest a lot of time and money into it. If you've already done that and you're just looking to kind of keep building it and build up, like we can help you. So whatever stage you're at, we can help you with. Again, the thing is like, it's for tech startups. If you're looking again at like opening like a hair salon or like being a plumber and having a business, like that's a better fit for one of the program I mentioned in January, the new traditional business program. But yeah, it doesn't matter what stage you're at for this, as long as it's kind of like a tech startup. Again, and if you don't know, because you're like, I just don't know, still sign up, you can explore it. Worst case, you don't like it, you drop out. Yeah. Yeah.
For the team formation, are you
Yeah.
going to set up like little matchmaking meetings between?
Yeah, so if I would definitely, like, again, I think it's going to be a very fun event. I've done this workshop myself and it's really funny, to be honest. So I would definitely say if you can attend the event. If not, please send me an email. Don't sign up for the event just because we have a limited number of spots for the team formation. So again, if you're planning on attending, definitely sign up sooner rather than later, because there is limited spots, because we want to give you guys enough space and whatnot to work on the activity. Send me an email and indicate like I'm an individual, this is what I have skills in, or I'm a team, I'm looking for this, and I will facilitate those introductions between the teams and individuals who are looking for members. But again, if you can show up, I would definitely recommend showing up. Yeah. You don't. So you can, this is we've been trying to figure out how to make team formations happen. This is the first time we're running this workshop. So a lot of the people there, like we're really pushing it to people who are interested in Launchpad. You can still show up to the event if you just want to meet people. Maybe you're not sure if you want to join Launchpad yet and you want to see can I join a team and join Launchpad that way. So you can still come. Yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned that like you would be organizing like the teams prior to the session.
Yeah.
Would there be still flexibility to like switch around?
Yeah, so it's just like a fun workshop with a very silly task for you guys to do. It's only going to be about the first like hour of the 2-hour session, because we're giving you time to like physically build something. But we've left the second hour essentially to be open. So if you're like, hey, I needed a business person on my team, I didn't like really vibe with the business person who was in my group, it'll be color coded, so you can be like, I'm gonna go find a different business. Like business people have red on their name tag, so I'm gonna go find and talk to them. So there is opportunity to move. Like I'm not pre-forming you in groups for Launchpad. I'm just pre-forming you into groups for this specific workshop. And yeah, you guys can move around. You can change teams after the fact. That's totally fun. Yeah.
based on your experience and based on the workload of the task, what team size do you recommend?
So typically in startups, like the best number is 3. because it's a triad, it's an odd number, it's really helpful in decision making, but you don't have like too many cooks in the kitchen where there's too many people giving an input. So I would say somewhere between like two is even still kind of small. Like I would say 2 to 4, maybe 5. 5 starts to get a little bit big. Really the idea is just like you want enough, like as startups grow and as you scale up, you will hire eventually and whatnot. But at this like very initial stage, you're figuring there's a lot of things you need to figure out, and you just kind of want that core team of people who are like passionate. And a big thing too to keep in mind is like commitment level. So like if you're like, I'm gonna put 5 hours a week into this, and they're like, I'm gonna put 30 minutes a week into this, that's like another thing like that's important to figure out when forming a team. So these are the questions, but yeah, you don't want to have like too many people that you like just nothing, no decisions get made, nothing gets done. 3 is like the optimal number in like startup land. But again, anywhere from like 2 to 4, maybe 5 is a pretty good number. Yeah.
For the slots opening in January.
Yeah.
Do you, for example, if I'm more interested in learning about skills,
Yeah.
honing in on them.
Yeah.
So that's why it's appealing to me. So can I still, or should I sign up for these events that are coming up soon?
So I would say like the first half of the Launchpad program, so for the fall semester, is really about like these fundamental skills. So again, like market research, customer discovery, problem discovery, pitching. Like these are fundamental skill sets that you can get from the Launchpad program. And then again, if you're interested later on in switching, you're like, okay, like I don't want to do a tech startup, I just want to have like a side hustle or whatever, and you want to switch to the other program, you can. The sessions in the second half, so in the winter semester, we're gonna have a session on like leveraging an AI. This is where like the legal and the intellectual property session, building like a team around you and beneath you, and how to work with mentors. So the winter half is a little bit more tailored to startups, whereas the first half is very like fundamental skills for any business. So again, if you want to switch to like the traditional business program or something in the winter, the skills you're learning in the fall are still going to be really, really beneficial to you. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yes.
So it kind of sounds like the fall semester and say like NT 317 has quite a bit of overlap within each other, but then maybe the second semester goes beyond that. Would you agree with that?
I don't know too much about the NT courses. I don't run them. I will say like the guest lecturing I have done in NT, I think we go a little bit further and we have a little bit more, again, I've not done a deep dive into them, but I would say like it is the fundamentals. We do, I think, take it a little bit further than from what I've personally seen in NT, in terms of like, especially like forcing you guys to actually go out and do the things that you're learning, not just kind of like doing a quick like IBIS world search for market research. Like it's a little bit more in depth. Again, the idea is like you're working, I know in some of the NT courses you are working on a project, but like you're working on a specific business idea, and so you can apply it to that specific thing, which just helps with that learning. Yeah.
Is it okay for first participate in some kind of those clinics?
Yeah.
And to learn the rules?
Yeah.
And then look for the partners or co-founders, because we are looking to launch a startup.
Yeah.
So if we get a partner right now, we probably will face some problems in the future. So if we know the rules, and because we need contracts and all those things to start a startup, are looking for the people.
So at this point, I think that's a very fair question. Don't get too caught up in the legal, the like technicalities. At this stage, especially if you haven't started anything, you just have an idea, you need to just like first make sure that's a good idea, right? And that you don't need a contract with someone. You don't need a founder's agreement with like a potential partner, because you don't even know if the idea you have is a good idea. So I would say like, yes, it's good to learn the rules, but the way you're going to learn and be most effective is if you can actually like sit in these sessions and actually apply it to a problem that you're thinking of. You're going to learn it a lot better. And again, you're not like necessarily like you testing out, is this a real problem? Is this a real challenge that our people are facing that I want to solve? And like actually committing to like starting a business are two different things, and you have to do this one before you can do this one. So you can wait, but entrepreneurship is really about just like going out and doing things, and that's what we're trying to get you to do through this program. And so focusing on yeah, like you don't need, I wouldn't worry yet. You know, it could be in a month, that could be like, you're like, I found this problem, it's a real problem. 100 people have told me it's a real problem. Come talk to me, we can have a conversation of like, how do you protect yourself from that? But at this point, we're not there yet, so don't get too caught up in that. Again, anything IP related, that's a different conversation. So especially if there's any researchers in the room, do not tell anyone your secrets, especially if you haven't filed your patent yet, or your trademark or anything like that yet. Again, if you have specific questions about that, please come talk to me after. I'm definitely not an IP expert, but I know enough to tell you what not to do at this point. And we do have, like, again, if you work on like this, for example, you work on Launchpad, throughout Launchpad with a partner, and you want to continue it and they don't, we also have release documents available for you already written up. So if you want to say, hey, you know what, I want to keep this, they don't want to keep doing this, you can get them to sign a document that essentially they release everything to you. So we do have those resources available for you, but unless you kind of are already working on something, I wouldn't worry too much about that at this point. Anyone have any other questions? No? Okay, cool. Well, with that, thank you all so much for coming. I'm gonna just leave the team formation slide up. I should have left that up earlier, so if you guys want to sign up for that, please do. And I hope to see you all next week. It's gonna be really fun, I promise. Yeah, and otherwise, I hope to see you all in Launchpad.